be intentional about your character, you can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the extremely popular Dr. John Deloney podcast, is my guest today, my co-host today, and we're glad to have him here to answer your questions about your life, your money, your family, your boundaries and relationships, and we'll talk with you about what's going on. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jeff is with us in Dallas to start off this hour. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve, sir. What's up?
Yeah, quick question. I'm fairly new to investing. I did work with an ELP when I started my new job last August to select my options. And when I look at the options now, I'm just curious. Like I see, like, for example, in the large cap options they have, I see other options in the one he told me to select that have a similar rate of return, but the share prices are drastically different. So should I also be considering their share prices or just focus strictly on the rate of return?
Share price means nothing.
Ah, okay.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just the number of, people that they have in the mutual fund divided into that. I mean, and your share price times your number of units equals your total. So, I mean, you can have a $10 share price, $100 share price. It doesn't affect, what you're getting and what you end up with. You're going to have the same. If both of them had an 11.6 rate of return, they're both going to have the exact same results.
Got it.
So, in other words, if you buy a share of stock for $100 or you buy a share of stock for $50 and you put $10,000 in either one and they both go up 11.6%, it's the $10,000 that's going up, not the share.
Got it. Okay.
The total of the 10 gives you the returns. So you're putting the same amount in, you're buying less units with a higher share price, more units with a lower share price, but it's really just irrelevant. So you're fine. I mean, as long as you're in good mutual funds that are giving you good, strong rates of return, similar to what the stock market's doing, you're going to become wealthy if you keep following the baby steps and working your way all the way out. John, the good news is that just like when you're dealing with a mental health situation, with a money situation, with a marriage situation, with a career situation with King Coleman, these areas of life, most people don't succeed in an area of life just because they freaking don't pay attention. It's not because they do the wrong thing as much as they just don't do anything.
They do nothing, right? They just sit there.
They just go, oh, well, I wonder what's on TV tonight.
Yeah.
Well, my marriage is in the other room burning down,
Or my kids are in the other room.
Yeah, my kids are in the other room doing heroin, but I wonder what's on TV tonight.
I've got everybody a screen. Everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
That means we're winning, right?
And that's what they do with the money. It's just, as long as nothing's getting repoed, so nothing's burning down, so I'm okay. The difference is that guy is paying attention.
At a granular level.
At a very granular level. At a nerd level.
I started to turn and ask you, hey, Dave, I know we're in front of a couple of 10 million people or so, but what's he talking about? But you explained it, so that's good. Yeah, I've not even gotten that granular level.
Yeah, but I mean, if you pull up your mutual fund statement, it says that each share that you own is worth X, and you own Y number of shares, and X times Y is the amount of money you have in there. So if it's $10 and you own 1,000 shares, then you have $10,000, right? So, and that's all it is. But the share is your portion of this mutual fund that's been mutually funded,
right?
And so if you're in a mutual fund that's got $2 billion in it, your share is a share of that. If it's in a mutual fund that's got $500 million in it, a fourth of that, then your share is a share of that.
But the rate of return is the rate of return.
The rate of return is the rate of return is the rate of return, and it's based on the dollars you have invested total, not the share price. But the good news about a guy asking, it's easy to make fun, go, that's real nerdy. Who gives a crap? Because it doesn't matter. But the good news is he's paying attention.
He's paying attention.
And people who are successful at any area of their life are the people that pay attention.
Okay, so I've got a
So I
theory.
always want to reward people that pay attention.
I've got a theory. I want to know what you've been doing this for a lot longer than I have. Why don't people pay attention? Why do they pick a thing that they just choose to tune out on?
I don't know.
My theory is, and this is my personal
lazy?
life.
It's intellectual laziness?
For me, it was
or
fear.
denial?
It was fear.
Okay, denial or some kind of a repressing mechanism of some kind.
Yeah, when it came
I don't
to
want to face it.
my marriage or parenting or my physical fitness or my mental, I could go in and be directly involved in, to some degree, the route that would take, right? When it comes to finance, to the stock market, it's almost like a presidential election. I can do my right thing, and then you got to step back and let the thing go, right? And there's a fear component for it for me.
Yeah. I mean, buying a house, you can't control what house prices are going to do.
They are, right?
But you can go, well, for the last 75 years, here's what they've done, and I'm pretty comfortable with that, so I'm going to buy a house, and probably going to work out for me. You don't have to have this big, predictive model of some kind on your house.
Well, you can do the same with your marriage, right? Like most people say, if I ask this question, there's going to be the occasional person that doesn't like that question. But for me, it's always come down to fear. But I don't know what it is across the board with folks.
Yeah, it can be. It can be laziness.
Yeah.
It can be. I'm just, why don't you work out more? I'm too lazy.
I'm not going to.
Do it.
Why don't you go talk to your kids?
I don't really want to. I mean, why do anybody run unless somebody's chasing them?
Exactly.
So, you have that Kelly. When we were all getting ready for the marathon, I was running the half marathon. A bunch of us were running a few years ago, and she said it's in the Bible.
What's that?
That you don't run. Only the wicked flee when no one is chasing. Only the wicked flee when no one is chasing. So all of you runners there, Kelly's got your back, literally. So, but so fear. It can be fear. I can be. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And so I get paralysis of the analysis, deer in the headlights or whatever.
Or paralysis of no analysis.
It can be laziness.
Yeah.
And the problem is in America that you can be half butt and have a really good life.
You can just coast because everyone's taking care of everything.
You can have a really good life in America being a half butt.
In fact, the good life is now injecting fractals, is the nerd way, is creating things that are going to be hard for you so that you can grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
you've got to be intentional about discomfort.
Muscles aren't growing unless they're sore.
That's right.
And lives aren't growing unless you bump your knee.
My relationships aren't growing if I'm not having hard conversations.
Unless I'm going, wait a minute, I don't think, but this leaning into that, there's a success principle to that in any area of your life, and this intentionality, the power of intentionality. You become what you think about, Earl Nightingale said. Jesus said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And when you have nothing in your brain, you're going to become nothing.
And there's plenty of people who are happy to take your money and just plop things in your brain for you, right?
Well, or pat you on the head and tell you how good you're doing when you really suck. You know what I'm saying? And take your money doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, aren't you cute?
I'll take your subscription fee and
you're not cute.
I'll give you some more info.
That's ugly. There's nothing cute about that. Really.
I'm kind of cute, Dave.
Yeah. Well, and humble.
My mom says I am.
And humble. Well, your mom. She's obligated. This is The Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show, where we talk about your life, your money, and your life. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Patrick is in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Patrick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Alrighty, so my question is, I'm 17 years old, and I just finished my $1,000 emergency fund, which technically covers way more than 6 months worth of expenses for me. All I pay is insurance. So my question was, should I keep putting in that to anticipate the future for when I move out after high school, or maybe start investing a little bit, or use that to start saving up for your financial coach master training?
Who is this guy?
Wow. All right. Well, Patrick, we teach folks that are in high school and living with their mom and dad at home in Foundations for Personal Finance that their fully funded emergency fund is $500. Now, then you bring up an interesting question that someday you're going to transition and move out. As that day approaches, you're going to want to have a full-on, we'll call it an adult emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses of what your life would look like if you had a job and lived in an apartment and didn't live at home. But that's a different world than you're living in today. In the interim, you could save towards that transition, or you could save towards a different goal. I would not begin investing at this stage. I don't think it's necessary. You got plenty of time. You're doing great. You're paying attention. And no, I would not suggest you do the Financial Coach Master Training at this stage of the game. That's too expensive an item for you to invest in at your young age. You'll have plenty of time to do that later when you want to move into it. But I don't really want to take a 17-year-old's $3,500 away from him and him not be able to make some money as a result of doing that, because it'd be highly unusual for someone to come to a 17-year-old for financial coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be I have a hard enough time coming to you, man. You've been doing this for a while.
And I'm older.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, I love talking to 17-year-olds.
But it's cool that, again, back to what we were saying before the break, paying attention.
Oh, man.
And, it's not to say you can't do any of those things. You can, but it's I got my real estate license 3 weeks after I turned 18. I've told this story before. And you shouldn't have bought a house from me. I was wearing my Tom Selleck mustache, Magnum PI. I had the disco clothes on because I didn't have a suit, and I actually talked people into buying houses, which is not a real good reflection on them. So you should not buy your largest asset from a miniature Tom Selleck in a disco outfit. And so just
get that bobblehead made.
Yeah. You don't remember Magnum PI before he was doing infomercials on... Oh, anyway, yeah. So, there you go. But, all right, Sierra is with us. Get me out of this. Sierra's in Evansville, Indiana. What's up, Sierra?
Hi, Dave. Hi, John. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I am new to your program. A very good friend of mine gave me your book, Total Money Makeover. I've read that, and I've really tried hard to apply those principles. Long story short, I'm a single mom of an 8-year-old boy. I work 2 jobs, and traditionally I work 6 to 7 days a week. But my total income projected, if things stay on track, it should be about $27,000 to maybe $30,000, which is very low. My total debt, which is student loans, a car note, and some old dead debt by your standard, is about $40,000. And I've already paid off $8,000 within 3 months. But I just kind of want to know your opinion. Do you think it's worth it to stay at these jobs? Because I am sacrificing so much time for my child.
Mm-hmm. You're a warrior princess, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
He is lucky to have you in his life.
You're amazing. Well, I think if I'm in your shoes, I need to see more traction for the sacrifice.
Right.
And so I would be willing to give up some of the hours if I was being paid a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And so resetting your, getting some better jobs that pay more, make it more worth, in the sense of the advancement that you make on your financial goals, make it more worth the time away. Now, I do not want to sign you up for a thing where he's 8 years old and 10 years from today we're still in the same wheel running, and you've really made no progress, and you pretty much have been gone the entire time. he was there. That means your career path didn't go well.
Right.
So, I'm not concerned about the old debts. I want to get some of the current ones that you're paying payments on out of your life, so you got that money back each month. You don't have to pay it out to somebody else. You can use it for your family.
Right.
So, I think what I would do is probably work on the career side of things. But no, I wouldn't be away from my kid for minimum wage, as an example.
Okay, yeah.
That doesn't prove anything except you're willing to work hard.
Right. Because both of my jobs, I'll be very honest, they're very much so dead-end jobs. I'm a telemetry technician, and at a hospital I work 12 to 16 hours for 3 days a week, and then the rest of the time I'm waiting tables at a small restaurant. Our area doesn't really have a whole lot. It's pretty low-income, poverty-stricken kind of area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I didn't finish my degree, so...
what did you start your degree in?
Nursing. But with COVID, I have decided I don't want to be a nurse. My job, I call time of death. So I deal with a lot of death, and I want to get away from it. But this is where my insurance is and my benefits. So honestly, I think it's more of I'm scared to leave because
you're scared to leave because you don't have anything better. You can't just cold walk out the door.
Right, of course,
but,
and I would never do that.
So what I've got to do is, if I'm in your shoes, what I have to do is I have to have a new goal and say, okay, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 29.
Okay, so when you're 39 and this kid is 18, what is Sierra doing with her life that pays double or triple what you're doing now?
Right. Well, my goal, I actually have two goals, which are polar opposite from each other. I love being in the business of hospitality, and, with waiting tables, it's really opened my eyes that I have such a passion for being social with people and enjoying them, that I would love to open my own restaurant.
Okay.
And do that side of things. But if we're talking about another personal business, because I've realized I would like to be my own boss so I can live the life that I want to live. I have always had a passion for maternity, with babies and expectant moms. So I have considered opening my own photography business and just catering to mostly maternity, birth photos, and then newborn photos. Which can be, fairly.
Well, there's some interim steps in either one of those businesses that you could start immediately.
Right.
If you're a good photographer, you can start putting yourself out there as being willing to take pictures of almost anything and work your way towards babies. And if you want to someday open a restaurant and be in that business, why don't you start baking something or starting a small catering business on the side, and let that be the replacement for the waitressing job as soon as you can get it moving. As a matter of fact, you might approach your existing boss about letting you manage his new catering outfit.
Okay.
And then later on, maybe he gives it to you after you get it running. And then later on, you become his competition when you open your own restaurant, or maybe not because you open a different kind of restaurant that's really not a competitor of his. But the bottom line is you could start cooking out of your kitchen and doing small catering things by yourself, paying a friend out of your back pocket to help you with the trays, and begin your career, because you need to do something to move in the direction of your desired future.
And your kid is going to watch you work and scratch and claw. He's going to participate and help you out.
Yeah.
Our friend Christy Wright did that with her mom's baking shop, a single mom's baking shop. And you're playing a long game with him. And, man, he's going to step back and tell the story for generations about how his single mom scratched and clawed and hung out and dragged him along.
Hang on, I'm going to put you in her Business Boutique Academy. We just closed it, but I can open it. I own it. And put her in there and give her a Business Boutique book, and let's get her going here. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Annette is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Annette. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. So my question today is, I'm a teacher, and I'm due to retire in 4 more school years. My husband is already retired, but we've not had to touch his thrift savings plan or his Social Security at all. I have a required retirement that I put into through my school district. But about 7 years ago, after starting to realize that, you know what, we want to have more money when we retire. Well, I didn't realize about annuities, so I invested into a teacher annuity. And then after reading your book a few years ago, realized that was a mistake. And so I've stopped putting into the teacher annuity, but there's about $125,000 into that. And we fully funded a Roth IRA for last year and for this year already.
Good.
We're completely debt-free, including our rental property.
Good.
And our house should be paid off. The goal is that it'll be paid off before I retire, or I'm not retiring, because I don't want to have a house payment afterwards. So I don't know what to do with that teacher annuity. I asked our financial advisor if I should try to roll that into a Roth IRA, but he said that I would be taxed on that full amount. And with what I make and my husband's retirement, we're like at $140,000 a year. And he goes, you would be paying a lot in taxes.
Yeah, but he didn't offer for you. He's right. I agree with him, but he didn't offer for you to roll it to a variable annuity with him taking care of it?
No, he didn't. And I'm not, because this was something that was optional through my school district. I had gotten a settlement, and I didn't want to get taxed on it. So I was trying to figure out where to put it. This was 7 years ago.
But you could roll it to a traditional IRA, not a Roth IRA, and not have any taxes.
And then I would be able to control the amount of interest in.
Yeah, control what it's invested in. Yeah.
Okay, and do you know if you put into a teacher annuity, or do you know if you're able to roll that over?
Well, if it was a pre-tax annuity, it's up to the school board. It's up to your particular employer. I don't know what teacher annuity can mean. A whole myriad of different things. So you'll have to find out. But it sounds like your investment advisor didn't want to fool with us. So get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros and ask them to tell you in your area, in the city of Sacramento, what can you do? And if you are able to roll this, just because it's in an annuity, if you roll it to a Roth, it does become taxable. That piece of information was correct. But if you can roll it to a Roth and it become taxable, then I know you can roll it to a traditional and there's no taxes. And that's what I would do. I'd move it to a traditional and put it in good mutual funds and get it away from there, if you're able to. But I do not know what the guidelines and regulations are with each individual county across the nation and what their deal with their teacher annuity is.
It tells me something that the financial advisor didn't immediately try to grab that into another product.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Should have if they're able to, but he told her not to do it because of taxes. He didn't tell her to do it, not do it because she couldn't do it. That's fair. That's what's bothering me. So I'm thinking that click SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com and get one of our SmartVestors and ask them, and they maybe can do it for you. That's a possibility. So something to check on for sure. Thank you for calling. Kareem is with us in Toronto. Hi, Kareem. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Ramsey?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can we help?
So I just wanted your opinion on something. So I'm from Toronto. I'm graduating university right now. I actually just wrote my last exam a few hours ago.
Congratulations.
Way to go, man.
What's your degree in?
Business.
Good for you.
Did you pass this last exam?
I hope so. I just got one exam back that I didn't do too hot on. So hopefully it's not bad. Yeah. So I'm in Toronto. I'm moving to New York in a few months for a job, and I wanted your opinion on if I should potentially buy an apartment instead of renting in New York. It'd be somewhere in Midtown, around $300,000 or $400,000, and I have a fair amount saved already. And my job specifically doesn't allow me to invest in a lot of stuff that I would normally invest in. So I was thinking of that as an alternative that I could also live in. So I was hoping to get your opinion on that.
So you said a fair amount. What is a fair amount?
I have like $50,000 or $60,000 saved.
Okay. What will you be making at your new financial job?
Base would be around 100, and then bonus is variable. It can be between 20 and 50 for first year.
So I'm guessing you're moving into an analyst role, which is why they're not allowing you to invest in things that you might be actually analyzing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like, Dave, you can, of course, counter in. I like folks to work at their first job out of college for a year or two before they just plant their roots so deep or get real close to their financial ceiling there with a $400,000 apartment.
Yeah. I'm really good with you getting settled in all the other changes in your life without also becoming a real estate owner for year one, particularly. After year one, yeah, you can start to talk about it. And you can use that year to pile up even more cash, by the way. And there's a possibility, by the way, that Manhattan Midtown real estate is going to be cheaper in a year.
Yeah, there's the possibility.
Yeah, because the freaking place is a ghost town.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I'm a bit more bullish on it than most.
I know, but I mean, people are leaving there by droves, and supply-demand curve is going to affect real estate prices. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think they're going to shoot straight up. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't know whether they're going to stay flat or turn down, but you've just got the Midtown economy's just been damaged by the continued shutdown, the prolonged shutdown. So anyway, no, I would not buy the first year. I agree with John and all of those other reasons. I think you move down there, get you an apartment, pile up cash. You've obviously got a wonderful job. Congratulations, making serious bucks straight out of school. Pretty freaking amazing. And you've done a great job saving money so far. Be debt-free, have your emergency fund in place, and save as big a down payment as you can save in the next 12 to 18 months, and then talk about buying. That's what I would do.
And Dave, I think, I've got my experience and just my students who graduated, but if he were moving to Kansas, making $100,000 and was going to buy a $200,000 house, I would say, hey, just sit for a second. You don't know where you're going to want to live in this new town. You think you want to do here. You think you want to this is going to be your forever job like every new college graduate does, and it ends up shifting and changing. I just want someone to get all that stuff settled in. Now, maybe that's not a rule of thumb, but...
No, I think it is. It's a time of high transition.
Yeah.
And adding one more thing to the bowl of transition is equals stress and aptitude to make a mistake.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't disagree. I think, it's kind of like we talk about a young couple getting married. Don't buy a house first year. Same kind of a thing. It takes a year of being married to know how close your mother-in-law to buy. The old joke we use over and over and over and over again. That kind of stuff. So that's the thing. And so, and that's true. You're in a one of the more transitional phases of your entire life.
Right.
Another way of saying it, the least stable.
Right.
And real estate's a freaking anchor.
Few people think they know more about how the world works than a new business grad.
What are you saying? What, maybe a new psychology grad? What are you talking about
They're
here?
dumb too, but I'm telling you, a 21-year-old business grad is like, I think I've got this figured out. What I need to do is this, and everyone's saying, hey, just be wise, slow down. But I got it, right? He may have it.
I'll be guilty as charged. When I graduated, I definitely knew everything about the economy. Only to discover I know nothing about the economy. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. You can join him on the Dr. John Deloney Show as well as with me today. He's on YouTube, on podcasts. It's everywhere. And make sure you jump in and you can be a caller on his show. You can email to set that up, askjohn@ramseysolutions.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 844-693-3291. When it comes to making big money or life moves like buying a home, getting married, having a baby, it is likely the last thing on your mind to make sure that you have the right insurance coverage. I get that. That's kind of nerdy, but you know what? Big changes are overwhelming, and what would be even more overwhelming is to find yourself in a situation where you didn't have the right coverage. Yeah, bad. If not having the time or energy is what's keeping you from getting it done, get with one of our endorsed local providers, our ELP insurance agents, to help. They're independent agents who will help you find the best coverage at the best prices, and they don't charge an extra dime. They get paid when you get the best deal and buy. That's how it works. All you got to do is text the word insurance to 33789. I promise you're going to save money. Text insurance to 33789. Amanda is in Oklahoma City. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
So I am 40, about to put a single mom. About to get my last child out of the home.
You did it.
I did it. I'm so happy.
They made it. They all made it out alive.
They all made it out alive, and they're happy, and they're healthy, and they're amazing. And my last is happy and healthy and amazing, and it's a blessing in itself.
Amen.
We've had a wild ride.
Amen.
So, yeah, I'm very happy. So I have my emergency fund. I am debt-free, good credit score, and it made a point where I want to buy my second home. It's been a couple decades since I bought a home, but I would like to buy a home and do it wisely, obviously. I have enough to put my 20 down and finance, or I could save for the next 5 years and buy cash.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what if you put your 20 down and financed it and paid it off in 5 years?
Well,
what's the same numbers?
Oh, okay, sure.
If you can save up the cash, you could pay off the debt.
Yeah, absolutely, I can.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. Yeah, I guess
you own a home now?
I don't own a home now.
Oh, okay.
We have had a pretty rocky road the last 10 years, scraped and scrambled just to get where we're at, and it's really a miracle that I'm where I'm at now.
It's not a miracle. You're a rock star.
Yeah, there's nothing miracle about how hard you've worked, Amanda.
There's nothing miracle about corn coming out of the ground when you plant corn.
Exactly.
You're a hard-working warrior princess. You're a fighter.
I am.
Yeah.
And I'm
what do you
so
do for a
glad that you
living?
understand that. So I just got a new job. I start on the 3rd, and I'm a touch repairer.
Very good. So you got a new job. The last one's moving out. This is the year of new beginnings.
It's really the year of amazing blessings. My income is only going to skyrocket from here. I am beyond blessed. I am just blessed measure upon measure.
Wow. So powerful. Good for you.
And how old are you?
40.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a 5-year-old, and I'm older than you. You're just getting the party's just starting now, Amanda.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3, and how long have you been divorced?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing it on my own about 16 years, but I've been divorced for 12.
Okay.
You're a stud.
Wow, absolutely amazing. You're fun. Hey, it's great. Yeah, just put you're debt free. You have your emergency fund in place. You put down as much as you can put down. If 20 is what you got, that's awesome. Do it. And if you put it on a 15-year fixed and the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay, we're happy because in 15 years, when you are 55, your home will be paid for. But guess what? You're probably going to go ahead and pay it off in 5 years because that was your plan anyway.
Yeah.
And really, not much stops you. So.
No, nothing's going to. I'm only going to get better.
And then if you allow your kids to come visit you, which you may not want them to, they can come to your paid-for house. It'll be awesome.
That was my other question is, should I really don't want the bother of, a new roof and a new windows or having to buy, get any guy in here trying to fix my house. I was kind of concerned about whether I should, but also a house my kids could sell when I'm gone, and they would have that.
Honey, you're 40. You don't need to be worried about when you're gone. You just get a will, and they'll deal with it.
You're not even halfway done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm working on my will right now.
Hey, Amanda.
It's kind of on the forefront of my mind.
Amanda, for the last 16 years, you've been doing this all by yourself, thinking about every other person in the world and what might go possibly wrong.
Wow.
And then when it did, you've been duct taping it and wiring it and knitting it together so it doesn't fall apart. And now you're finally going to do something for yourself, and you're projecting 40 years into the future to think what might be the right decision. Do something for Amanda this time.
Okay.
Buy a house you're going to love for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I'm buying my forever house. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Nobody lives in a house forever.
So condo would be okay.
Condo be okay, but you don't buy it because you're worried about your kids taking care of it after you die.
No, I don't
buy it
have to
because
take
you
care
want
of it. I don't have to take care of it in 5 years.
What do you want? What does Amanda want? That's John's point.
Yeah.
You've earned that. That's not selfish. It's good mental health.
Right.
This is the new phase of your life. Everything's new. It's a fresh start. Whiteboard's going, new job, kids gone, got some money, gonna buy a house. Life's good. 16 years of scratching and clawing and getting her done.
And now you put 3/4 of that energy into Amanda, and like you say,
it's gonna blossom.
Your income's gonna skyrocket.
Gonna go zoom.
Joy's gonna skyrocket. It's gonna be incredible.
So we've got 1,000 folks working, 967 this week on our team, John, and just an encouragement to you, single moms, single parents, for that matter, out there. You're all worried about if you're gonna mess up your kids or something. Because you're struggling and you're scratching and you're clawing and you're working 3 jobs and money's tight and it's hard. It's hard. I've got a bunch of the children that grew up with you that work here. Yeah. And you know what they all say? My mom's a hero. They don't go, oh, I had it so hard when I was a kid. My mom was a single mom and I never saw her and I need counseling. None of them say that.
Zero.
They were raised by a warrior princess.
That's right.
And they all go, my mom is my hero.
My mom took away every excuse I could even remotely conjure up.
To be a victim.
Yes.
There's no chance I can be a victim because I was raised by her.
Right. She outworked me 3-1.
There's no chance I feel like I'm entitled to squat.
It's like my job when I show up, I have a late night and I think, man, I'm going to sleep in for a second. And then I think, nope, because Dave was at this event with me, and his butt's going to be here at 5:15 in the morning, roofing the house or whatever he's doing up here at the building, redoing the carpet himself. And so, yeah, it's like you just don't see colleagues who are raised by single moms say anything other than, no, I have a blueprint for what hard work, scratching and clawing, and love actually looks like.
They're not damaged goods.
No, they're resilient, strong, and powerful.
Yeah. And they're not entitled little snowflakes.
Oh, they'll just outwork you 3-1.
Yeah, because they just that's
all they know. It's what they know.
You guys that are raised by the Amandas of this world. You know what I'm talking about. And you Amandas out there, yeah, they will grow up and move on. Praise God. We all say that, by the way. And so the trick is for them to stay gone. And when they move out, they need to stay gone. No boomerangs here. No boomerangs. So we're going to just move your little self out there, and we're going to watch you from a little short. We love you, but you're going to sit out there at a distance.
Amanda, you're a hero, man. Thank you for being who you were and who you're going to be.
Amen. Very fun stuff. What a great call. Good stuff. Well, that about puts this particular hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to James Childs, our producer, Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back before you know it.
It's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones as we take your calls about your life and your money. Anything going on in your life, Dr. Deloney, his podcast is extremely popular these days. Join him on that. And he talks about everything in the world in the mental health field, but certainly about boundaries and relationships and marriage issues, all those kinds of things. And you're welcome to join us with those today as well. 888-825-5225. Thomas in San Diego starts off this hour. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can we help you?
So I actually have lots of questions, but today my question is for Dr. John.
Bring them all on, Thomas.
So a couple months ago, a friend of mine, a good friend, he was working for his dad, living with his parents, and something happened. It wasn't entirely his fault, but his dad kicked him out and fired him. He was not in a good situation. And last Wednesday, one of his best friends died in a car accident.
Oh, man.
And so he's 19. He doesn't have a job right now. He's staying with his friends. And I've been trying to encourage him, offered him a place to stay. I am just wondering how long I should wait to talk to him about, finding a job and kind of getting his life back on track.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay.
What are you doing these days, man?
I'm actually a welder. I make about $50,000 a year. I just got engaged, so I should be getting married next year.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well, you're a good friend, man. You're doing good, and he's lucky to have you. So here's my experience and thoughts on this, and I'd love to hear Dave's too. The unfortunate thing about grief is Kessler says it's like a fingerprint. Everybody does it differently. And so really the greatest gift you can give someone who's grieving the loss of a friend is your presence. What we often try to do is make ourselves feel more comfortable in that silence, that just in that darkness, and we try to give a bunch of advice, and you should be doing this, and here's how you should be feeling. And really, man, people just need us to show up. As he says, grief demands a witness. You got to have people around you. What I've found is that people will invite you in when you show up, meaning they will eventually, at some point, usually sooner rather than later, turn to you and say, hey, what do I do now? And when you get invited into that conversation is when I'd love you to come work for me, or I've got a spot for you. I know a buddy who's got a restaurant. You can get a part-time gig or something. running at somebody who's hurting, especially their friend just died the other day, and saying, well, you need to, I haven't found that to be super successful. Even though man, just laying around the house is going to be hard. Grief just looks ugly and messy and different for everybody. Now, if you look up and it's 6 months and it's a year and he's couch surfing and he's losing weight or gaining weight, that's when a group of friends will get together and say, hey, we're worried about you. We're really struggling to know how to love you. What do you need from us? But right now, fresh off the back of something, I would show up and be a presence with him. What do you think, Dave?
All right.
Yeah, we call that the ministry of presence.
Yeah.
And the last thing you do is you quote some pithy saying or some Bible verse. I want you to just go sit and don't say a freaking word.
Bring tacos.
Yeah, bring donuts.
Yeah.
Chocolate covered. And they're good for grief. And and they're good for you sitting there quiet, too, because you got something in your mouth.
Yeah, just keep shoving them in, man.
Yeah. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
And then if he asks a question, I would just turn it back on him. I wouldn't even answer his question. What do you think I ought to do? What do you think you ought to do?
Yeah.
You think I ought to get a job? You think you ought to get a job? Just turn it back on him, because he already knows the answer. So this young man has more than just grief from the loss of his friend. He's also really pissed off at his dad.
Right.
Yeah.
And hurt about all of that. So he's got like stuff upon stuff right now. So again, just hanging out and bring tacos, bring donuts and that kind of stuff. I completely agree with John. Now, here's the necessity thing too. He also doesn't have the luxury of doing nothing financially for a long period of time. And sometimes the faster you engage in some activities, not to mask over your grief, but to get over yourself and realize this whole thing may not be all about you, the faster you get on with it is and go get a job, it gives you something to do and keeps your mind busy a little bit. And that's not to go through a proper grieving process, but I mean, what if he'd had a job and his friend died? Well, he can't quit his job and sit and cry. He's going to keep working and still go through the grieving process. So, by the way, he could go get a job, and really it would help him right now because it'd give him one less thing to worry about, because he's also sitting around worried about where he's going to live and how he's going to eat because his dad booted him out. And self-preservation is starting to enter into this. Like when we went broke, John lost everything. They were like, what'd you do after bankruptcy? So I went and worked.
You got to.
I didn't have a choice. I got 2 little babies. I got to get the dadgum lights on. Yeah. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have time to sit around and think about what was going on. I had to make some money.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's something about those little wins that are so critical.
Well, you build your confidence. You build. You can begin to work through that. A, it's not all about you, and B, you didn't cause it all, or what. I mean, you still can process the psychology of it
in action
while you're in movement.
Yeah. But there's those moments when your feet feel like they've been encased in concrete.
Yep.
And yeah. And what you need more than anything is, I love it. Nothing that can be knitted on a pillow.
Yes.
I just need you to sit with me, man.
I can give you 3 scriptures to never use.
Yeah, just sit with me.
And never use them.
Yeah. Ever.
In that situation. No,
right.
I can just don't. These are not. Everybody wants to quote that it's going to be okay because they want you to be okay. They mean well. But it's just
looking for silver linings isn't the point. They emerge over time.
Yeah.
Please
don't tell me how this is all going to work out.
Yeah. No. I need you just to sit and hurt with me. Thomas, he is really fortunate to have you in his life. I'll tell you that right now. He's blessed to have you. Just so it doesn't show up and be awkward.
And so, John, and entering into this, give me 15 seconds on this. One of the antidotes for depression is activity.
You're right. Purposeful activity.
Yeah. So to not fall into depression as a result of all these things happening to this guy, some activity is not bad.
Sometimes it's as simple as getting up and brushing your teeth and going back to bed. Sometimes it's you work towards it. But yeah, finding people around
work.
You. Sometimes it's going to work.
Regime.
That's exactly
right.
But
activity is better than inactivity.
Almost 100% of the time.
There we go. This is the Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Thanks for being with us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today. Anna is with us in Houston. Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I found you about, maybe a month ago. I've got a bit of a question, I guess. I lost my husband about 4 months ago.
I'm so sorry, Anna.
Thank you. Just dealing with everything. He had a 401k account with his work that's been, I guess, converted to an IRA. I have some savings in, my own 401k. I've gone through your baby steps, and I'm don't have any debt. Putting money away for retirement, all that good stuff. The only thing left is the house at this point. So I don't know if it makes sense to keep the IRA and for my 401k as is and let it do what it needs to do, excuse me, and just start paying down my debt out of my house, I guess, out of my, just my regular paychecks, or cash some of it out, but then there's taxes and whatnot due on that money to do that. Or is it just, slow and steady, just pay down the house as I go along?
How old are you?
41.
What?
41.
41. Oh, okay. I thought you said 21. Yeah. So what
No.
happened? What happened to him?
Cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Long fight?
About 2 years. Yeah. He fought it, to the end.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
It was tough.
How long were y'all married?
16 years. 16 and a half, actually.
And how much debt do you have, not counting your house?
Nothing. Everything.
Oh, it's just the house?
No debt.
Okay.
Just the house.
And how much is in the 401ks and retirement and all that?
His was 150. Mine is 100.
Okay. What do you make?
About 140.
Good for you. What do you do?
I'm in finance, actually.
Okay. And what do you owe on your home?
300.
Okay. All right. And so his 150 rolled to an inherited IRA, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it can come out without any penalties, but with taxes at any time, by the way.
Right, that's what they told me.
Yeah, at any time.
Yeah, that's what they told me to do.
And you're also required to remove it systematically over the next so many years. They have a required minimum distribution on it, and they just changed it. I can't think what it is off the top of my head, but it's like 5 years or something. You're going to be pulling it anyway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay,
they just changed it about 18 months ago. And it used to be like over 30 years, but now it's over maybe 10 years, but it's a shorter period of time. Anyway, and
okay.
You got children?
I have a son, yes.
What age?
13.
Okay. All right. And you have other savings other than these two accounts?
I have an emergency fund set aside in like a savings account, and just cash, in and out, whatever's in the bank.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. Sharon and I have been married almost 40 years. Our estate plan is predicated on me dying first because she has planned it that way. But in case that doesn't happen, I'll tell you how I'm going to react. I'm going to be useless for a while if she were to pass away before me. And 16 years is not that much different. It's just you have some days that are okay, and other days you still can't breathe, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. And so I try not to make big financial decisions until I get at least 6 months of that behind me to where I can breathe better and the fog on my brain lifts a little bit. The good news is there's nothing rushing this decision, and so you can take that inherited IRA without penalties and do it 2 years from now, 2 months from now, 2 days from now if you want, and put it on this house. You don't have to decide today, and since you don't have to decide today, I'm going to recommend you try not to decide today.
Okay.
And just give yourself some room to cry, John.
Yeah, there's going to be this pressure to wrap a bow around all of this. And Anna, that's not how this grief's going to play out for you. Okay? You're going to want to come back.
I think you're right.
You're going to want to, you want to come back to the spreadsheets and to, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And there's a difference between I need to and I have to. And right now you don't have to deal with this. And I'm with Dave, 6 months to a year. If what you don't have to do, don't touch it right now.
Yeah. And then, at that point, there may be something else opening up in front of you, and you may go, I want to reach over and try to get this house paid off. That's my next big financial goal, which is not a bad goal at all. That and the kids' college are your only 2 goals left that are substantial goals, and I want you to hit both of them, and you're going to hit both of them. You make really good money. You're going to be just fine. There's no question about your survivability here. I mean, in terms of financial, you've got plenty of money.
Yeah.
You make good money, you got some money, and you don't have any debt, and so you're in a really, really good place in regard to that. There was no life insurance.
No.
No life insurance, is that right?
I put correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm just making sure I wasn't missing something here, but I think still, let's just ride it a little while. And just, put it in your calendar that in January you're going to begin to think about it and pray about it again. In the meantime, you're just going to live and cry.
And Anna, remember when you were pregnant with your little one, how much nonsensical, unhelpful, but good intended advice you got from everybody at the grocery store? And it didn't matter, right? Somebody saw somebody pregnant and they had some advice for you. It's been similar, hasn't it? About you need to be doing this, and have you thought about this, right? There is not a right way to do this except your way through this, okay? And love that baby of yours, and you are strong and brilliant and powerful. Y'all been fighting for 2 years. This raging river will turn into a creek at some point, and it's not going to be tomorrow. And so there's not a right way to do it. Get some people around you and walk every day. Make those decisions later, okay?
How would you say your son was again?
13.
13. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you guys to do, I'm going to give you Ramsey Plus for a year.
Oh, thank you.
And I want it's where you can learn how to handle money. You probably already know how, but you can go through Financial Peace University. You can get on the Every Dollar, and you can train him. Let him go through it with you.
This is going to be a new adventure that y'all can do together.
And you can both learn how to handle money. You can train him, and you can get polished up if you already know how. And as Christians, we're supposed to take care of widows, and I am. Yeah. So we're going to take care of you today, and you hang on. Kelly will pick up. We'll put you into Ramsey Plus. That gives you Financial Peace University, Legacy Journey, Smart Money, Smart Kids. It gives you all the classes. It also gives you Every Dollar. It gives you community. It gives you access to coaches and get questions answered. But don't do that out of feeling of pressure to. This is just kind of part of you getting some more tools in your belt while you're spending this year healing.
And as we talked about with the last call, no pun intended, but it's a little baby step in a new direction of a thing, right? And it's something you can do together. And it's just, hey, let's watch a video tonight. Let's do some of the assignments. Let's begin to slowly take these crooked steps in a new direction towards a new adventure. And suddenly you'll look up 9 weeks, 2-3 months later, and you've got a little bit taller. You've got a new relationship adventure that you've just joined in with your son. It's a whole new direction here.
Yeah, 13-year-old can definitely graduate from this class.
Oh, yeah. And he'll remember doing it with mom.
Yeah.
During a really shadowed season.
In the year from hell.
That's right.
Yeah. But it set me up to be a man.
That's right.
And mom helped guide me through that.
That's right.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Hey,
Anna,
you call us anytime we can help. We're here. Anytime you got a question, babe, we're here. And we got your back. And we'll help you any way we can. So hang on. Kelly will pick up, and we'll get you guys signed up for that.
The little boy's lucky to have you, Anna.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Sarah and Adam are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. Where do you guys live?
Chattanooga.
Oh, just down the road. Not a bad run to Nashville. Well, good to have you up here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
We paid off $70,000 in 17 months.
Good for you. And what was your range of income during that 17 months?
We started at 120 and ended at 130.
Good for you guys. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm an assistant project manager at a general contractor, and she's in the audit CPA at a firm.
Oh, very cool. Good, good. So what kind of debt was this $70,000?
All student loans, all mine.
All student loans, all mine. He owned it. He owned it all the way.
She gave him a quick glance with her eyes when you asked that question.
There's a little bit of an elbow went across there, but not much. Yeah, that's good. All right, good. Very good. So how long you guys been married?
2 years last week, actually.
Okay. So first order of business, we get married. You marry the girl in the audit department. She says we're getting out of debt, I'm guessing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we had to cash flow a car for him, and then we had to cash flow my last semester of grad school, but then we got on it.
Okay. So lean in and knock it out.
Yes.
And you did it fast. That's pretty impressive. I mean, y'all are dialed it in, didn't you?
We did.
Okay. So tell me the story. How'd all this happen? I was guessing, but I wasn't far off, huh?
So basically, she had gone on, I think it's Pinterest, and found a debt chain.
Yeah.
And we tracked it, $1,000 increments, and that was a good visual aspect of it. And we just basically kept living since we had just graduated college. We kept living like we were in college, and just every extra dime we put towards the debt.
Very cool. Good, good. And how did y'all connect to us?
So I actually had a friend that got your Total Money Makeover book for high school graduation, and she didn't read it, I don't think, but she let me take it to the beach on vacation, and so I read it, and I lived on a budget in college and paid cash for mine.
Oh.
But, anyway, so I was following the plan, and then we were dating, and then I figured out how much student loan debt he had, so we knew we were going to tackle it when we got married, so just kind of a condition of marriage.
How long had you been dating before you disclosed?
I heard it too, man. I was gonna say.
Before you disclosed this, Adam.
Then we broke up. Then we got back together. And
it was only a couple months before she knew about it. So
okay, all right.
And so, what was it like when she told you, "We're doing this, but we're doing it the analyst way"?
I was kind of scared to, ask her to help me almost. I offered, I was like, we can wait till, I have it paid off, but that would have been several years down the road. She was like, no, we're going to do it as a team, do it together.
I didn't want to wait that long, so.
Y'all are fun. This is great. Because it's good to have these discussions with you because you're the other side of it and have won now. But there's couples out there listening that are dating and he doesn't want to tell her he's got $70,000 in debt because he figures he's dead right there.
Or they're married and she feels like they're drowning and he's like looking at another truck to trade up in and she doesn't know how to have this conversation. So how did you do it? Like, take all the audience back to that moment when you looked across whatever table and you said, this is what we're going to do.
I got $70,000 in debt.
I don't know. It was all we weren't going to get married. Like, if he wasn't willing to do it, honestly.
That's what
we would have waited. Like, if he wasn't on the same page, that could have possibly been a deal breaker.
Yeah, Financial Peace University was actually one of the things that we did in premarital counseling.
Oh, you did?
So
okay.
That was really the big step, and whenever we decided we were going to lock down and really do it.
Brother, you married so well. Man.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
This is so good, you guys. What a great way to do premarriage counseling, too. I'm sure you learned a lot, both of you.
Oh, yeah.
And about working together and, pushing the whole thing through.
Almost as much as being on a beach vacation and looking over
at a borrowed book.
Seeing your face on the cover
of a borrowed book.
The book she's reading.
It's like, oh, man, don't you really, you're not supposed to be on vacation here, yeah. Wow, Wow, very cool, you guys. So now that you've done it, congratulations. You're incredible. Proud of you. What advice do you have to somebody who's facing that? They're brand new married. They got a pile of debt. What's the key to getting out of debt? What did you all do that you think made the big difference?
Just keep that gazelle intensity. You might have to sacrifice knocking out to eat with your friends, just cooking at home, rice, chicken, and hot sauce, cheap meals. And
that doesn't sound bad.
Keep on doing it.
Sounds better than beans and rice.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would say a lot of people have asked. We did share when we became debt-free on social media, and a lot of people message me and they want there to be the secret. And there's really no secret. It's sacrificing and discipline, and then obviously the budget, and then being on the same page with your spouse. If you're married, it's just, you have to be there.
Yeah, definitely the communication aspect of it. Once a week, 2 or 3 times a month, just talking about it, laying out the land, like how are you going to do it for the next few weeks.
Taking those links off that chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one at a time. Here we go. That's so fun. Very cool.
So how would you rate your marriage compared to your buddies right now? You have no debt. Y'all have worked together on a long-term project. Y'all both smiled, so tell me about it.
I mean, we have friends that have great marriages, and then obviously there are friends that we can see it's a little rocky, but we think we're up there with the strongest of them.
Yeah, I think this has really strengthened our communication, not just about money, but everything. I feel like we really communicate really well.
Yeah. How old are you guys?
I'm 25.
I'm 24.
All right. Wow. Man, making 130 and no debt in the freaking world. They're going to be so rich.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, we're talking tens of millions here. They don't understand what the compound interest is going to do. That's awesome.
Hey, you can see it on his face, though. He's slowly figuring it out.
Yeah.
He knew he married well when he met her, and he's like, hey, guys, she's going to actually go out with me. And then when he told his buddies that she was going to marry him, and now he's realizing, oh, we're going to have lots of commas and zeros, too.
Yeah.
Man, well played, dude.
Well done. So, who are your biggest cheerleaders?
Family and friends. My in-laws are here today.
All right.
Yeah, they're here, and we have pretty much all of our friends were supportive. We have some that like to make fun of us, but
well, that's good.
Mostly they're supportive.
If your broke friends are making fun of your financial plan, you're right on track.
I've said that to you before, right?
That's it. That's it. That's a classic right there. Well, that's cool. Mom and Dad came up to support you. That means they were supporting you and cheering you on all the way through, and they're proud of you. We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank
very,
you.
Very well done. We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey, which is the next step for you guys as you move into completely changing your future family tree. And that'll make Mom and Dad real happy. And I'm going to give you an extra copy of Total Money Makeover since you borrowed one at the beach.
Okay.
And I want you to pay it forward. Figure out somebody to loan it to on their beach vacation or give it to.
Okay.
And let's see if we can change another life or two. So well done, you guys. Very well done. Sarah and Adam from Chattanooga, $70,000 paid off in 17 months. Been married 24. Did it $120,000 to $130,000 worth of income. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! I love it. There's a handbook there for a bunch of singles that are thinking about who to marry. There was a whole bunch in that call.
Oh, man. They're going to have a whole new marriage now where they can go out to dinner together. They can go to a movie.
Chicken, rice, and hot sauce. Yeah.
I know they're going to get an entree now. It's going to be incredible.
Maybe a dessert.
And I don't know what was more amazing, their journey or the fact that you're on Pinterest. I didn't know that.
Well, I probably have somebody that works here.
Nope, I'm going with you. I think Dave Ramsey's on Pinterest.
I spend a lot of time every night.
My mind is blown in 10 different ways.
I actually printed off personally those little chains. It was a little known secret of my other side there, John. You're so full of crap.
I love it.
You know I'm not on. I can't even spell Pinterest.
Yes, you can. You're on it. You're on it. Sarah and Adam.
It's a secret, Dave.
Incredible.
It's a secret,
incredible.
Dave. Yeah, the secret Dave is out.
But I do. I want to go back. Sarah said, this meant something to me. This wedding wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
If he wasn't going to be a person.
Well, and he said, "I'll pay it all off before we get married."
Yeah.
They both were like they were addressing the issue. People don't address the issues when it messes up their marriage.
Right. And then they did it together. They accelerated it.
Boom, touchdown.
Bam.
What a cool couple. They're heroes, man. You guys are heroes. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. If you are feeling stuck or disengaged in your current job, if you dread getting out of bed to go to work, if you're searching for a new job for any reason, our Get Hired live stream event live tomorrow night. That's why they call it a live stream. Tuesday, September 27th, tomorrow night, Mr. Ken Coleman will be teaching you. And Ramsey personality, best-selling author, #1 best-selling author. At this one-night event, you'll learn how to get clear on what you do best, how to get qualified for the job you want, and then how to get connected and actually get the job. It's time to take the next step toward doing the work you love. No matter your situation, there is hope. Tomorrow, Tuesday, April 27th, take control of your career. Start working toward what you were born to do. The Get Hired event. The Hired event. Text HIRED to 33789. It's only $20. You can watch this stream. It's going to be worth it. This guy, Ken, is an incredible communicator, incredible teacher. Text the word HIRED to 33789. Kristen is in Charleston, South Carolina. Hi, Kristen. What's up?
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Hey, so I just sold my house today. I made $21,000 profit from it, and this is the most money I've ever had in my whole life, and I want to put it directly into my savings account. But I just wanted advice on how I can continue to be in a good financial position and not be tempted to spend any of it.
Congratulations. How old are you?
Thank you. I'm 25.
How long have you owned this house?
Since 2017.
All right. You did good.
I can hear her joy through the phone.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's
Good for you.
It's a nice $21,000 check.
You.
Send me $21,000.
Yeah.
I'll get joyful, I can tell you.
All day long, yeah.
That's good. So where are you going to live?
Well, right now I'm renting an apartment with a roommate, but I plan once the lease is done to buy my own house again.
Once the what is done?
Once the lease is over with the apartment, starting next year, I plan on buying my own house again.
Okay, so you weren't living in this house?
Oh, yes, I was living in the house.
How come you sold it?
I unfortunately, I separated from my fiance, so the money was split in half, and now I'm staying with a roommate. And until this lease is done, I would like to buy my own house.
That's perfect.
Next year.
Love it.
Okay. And so, well, here's what you do. You can just keep it in a bank account. That's all you need to do. Nothing fancy. Ask your local banker or your credit union to open you a money market account. Do not connect it to overdraft protection on your checking account. Do not connect it to your ATM card. Do not have access to it unless you go to the branch and pull money out. That will keep you from accidentally impulsing when you see a couch on sale on the weekend.
Right.
And so you build some protections and make it a little bit hard to get to it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Do you understand? If it's connected to your checking account, you're going to have a tendency to, well, I want to buy something and I'll just keep writing checks, right?
Right.
And if your ATM the same way. So just protect you from you, which is what you're concerned about. But the good news is you're already aware of that, so you're very unlikely to make this mistake.
How long have you been separated?
About 2 months.
Okay. So I would set up with your roommate. Is this a friend of yours?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Come up with some number, because this grief is going to wave over you like being out at the beach, okay? And it will wave over in different seasons and at weird moments. You're going to be walking in from somewhere after having a great time, and you're going to feel like someone just dropped one of those heavy blankets over you, okay? I want you to have some sort of agreement with your roommate that you will check in before you make a purchase over X dollars. Is that cool? And that will be your accountability partner through this grieving process, because I don't want you to you're going to have $21,000 sitting in the account. And like Dave said, it's going to be so tempting just to go get that dopamine hit and feel better, go to the bank and you're just going to have to get a new car or have to get a new designer oodle dog or some kind of something, go on some vacation, whatever it is, have an accountability partner that you got to check in with.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll give you the number. Anything over $300, you have to check in. How's your relationship with your mom and dad?
Oh, that's pretty decent.
Okay, you might also have that agreement with them then.
Okay.
And that's not you not being an adult. That's just somebody that loves you, that's kin to you,
right, that
you can check in with. That's not that you have to ask your mommy. That's not my point. But my point is same thing John's doing is giving you accountability. And so one last thing. I don't get to do this very often. Would you mind helping me with something?
Yeah, sure.
Would you talk to the audience out there? Because I catch a lot of grief when I tell people not to buy a house with people they're not married to because crap like happened to you happens. Would you talk to people out there that are thinking about making the same mistake you did when you bought this house with this goob?
Well, my advice would just be make sure this is the person, you want to spend the rest of your life with, and make sure, my advice is to get married. That would be my advice. Yeah.
Because you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life.
Right. I was 21 when I built this house. And I wish I would have, I think it would have been a lot easier if I was married. And that would be my advice. Yeah.
Don't buy a house with people you're not married to. That's what I tell people all the time. And people sometimes that are your age make fun of me because I'm an old grandpa. But it's also, I have met with, over the 30 years of doing coaching, I've met with thousands of people in your situation, and the good news is the house sold and you're able to split
you made money.
You made money and you're able to split the money and you're able to get away from this problem and get out of what a lawyer would call a partnership. Yeah. A general partnership with no partnership documentation. And so it turned out okay in the end. You made it out with your skin intact and made a little money. But to go with the heartbreak, you have to go with this disposition of assets as if there's a divorce, and yet there is no legal track to run the thing on.
The last thing you want to do when you're grieving is math, right?
Yep.
That's the last thing you want to do, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Whether you don't have life insurance, you don't have any number of things, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Kirsten. Yeah. Kirsten, I'm sorry for sharing that. But this is the reason. It doesn't always turn out like you think it's going to. So get things in the right order. Don't buy a house until you're married with someone you are not married to. And so, again, she got blessed and got out of it without a problem, and I'm happy she did. I didn't want her to be punished or something like that. But I am. She said, 21 years old.
Yeah.
And
like we talked about earlier in a previous segment, you got it all figured out when you're 21, right?
And you're 41, and when you're 51, and when you're 61.
I have, and if I have on a much smaller scale, I know you have. Man, talking to folks in that same situation who are trying to split debt.
Oh, it's harsh.
It's mayhem.
Yeah.
You couldn't have that conversation beforehand, which led to this, breakup. Trying to figure out who's going to take what debt and how you're going to split. Well, you bought this on that credit card, and you bought that, and the house, we have to write a check for it.
Remember that time you used the mustard?
Yeah. Dude, it gets contentious and messy.
Yeah, it's like breaking up with your roommate. Oh, because you are.
Yeah.
It's just it's a real problem, and we're seeing it at a pandemic level. But yeah.
Too soon, man.
It's an epidemic anyway. Yeah. It may not be a pandemic, but it's definitely an epidemic. So, well, Kirsten, I'm glad you got out and you got some money. I appreciate the smile on your face for the $21,000. That's awesome.
What a win, and you needed a win. I can hear it.
I'm glad you got the win, and we want you to have a wonderful purchase of a home when that money's all still sitting there, and you've added some to it.
Still in the account.
And it's still in the account. You've added some to it, and your lease runs out, and you're able to do that. So most excellent. Very cool. Thank you for joining us, kiddo. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to Dr. John Deloney, my co-host this hour. James Childs, our producer. Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back.
Did
Did you know you can listen to The Ramsey Show on your smart speaker? Just tell Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri to play The Ramsey Show podcast. Check out all Ramsey Network shows on your smart speaker today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality and best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. You jump in and we'll talk. David is with us in Shreveport to start off this hour. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I am a 1099 contractor and have been for close to 5 years, and I've been trying to increase my opportunities in the same company, and I applied for a position that's still a 1099, and then they sent me back a disclosure, a non-disclosure agreement, as well as a statement in there that says that should anything ever go on, I would not be able to speak in any way negative about the company or anyone in the company forever, not just like in a non-disclosure or a non-compete clause or anything like that, but forever. And so I kind of got some red flags on that one, and I'm trying to figure out if this is something that I should even try and consider to pursue, or if this is something that just sounds way too out there or too much to be asking of somebody to not be able to talk freely about something that would happen years down the road.
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why you would want the freedom to bash somebody.
I was just thinking, yeah.
I mean, if and especially you've been there 5 years and you haven't seen anything that needs bashing, because you're signing up for another. You're signing up for a longer trip, right?
Yes, sir.
So you don't have any indication that this is a bunch of crazy people or something. And so,
and if a legal matter ever came up, those are excluded out of these things.
Not a legal matter, a criminal matter.
Yeah,
a legal matter would not be excluded, but a criminal, if someone is involved in, I don't know, some kind of. I'm trying to think. I don't know, drug use or something,
stealing money or something,
or extortion. Yeah, that's criminal is separate from civil, and NDA cannot cover criminal. John's right. So I don't know if I'm just trying to put my feet in your moccasins and walking through it for a minute. Here's the thing. I don't. I've got. I don't reserve the right. I don't have a tendency to trash people that I've worked with. I guess I have too. I've trashed a few, not employers, but vendors that misbehaved. I've done that. For instance, I think Marriott sucks, as an example. So, What do you? There's something
else. It's not like I was planning it. I just didn't know what to do with it. I didn't.
It bothered you. And I'm just trying. Yeah, it's not that you're planning it, but I'm trying to think of what situation you would be in where you. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what's running through my mind, and I'm a little bit of the victim of this, to say the least. And that is that everybody in our culture today seems to think they're an activist. And it's like your job to straighten everybody else's life out on social media. And that's what they're trying to prevent. And your job is to publicly reprimand your employer. Which if you do that here, I'll fire your butt. Because if you're going to pee in the cereal and then right because it tastes bad, I'm going to fire you, okay? I pay you money to feed your family, and if you're going to run me down, on social media, or your wife is, I'm going to fire your little stupid activist butt, and you deserve to be fired. And so that's what's running through my mind, honestly, and I'm trying to think of, and you should be fired. I mean, you're disloyal. You're a horrible employee, and when you tear down the very place that's giving you money, that's ridiculous. And so you're not the kind of guy who's going to do that, but these are the kinds of things that are probably running through their mind. They run through my mind too, because I've had to do that.
And I'll look to future you, David, and tell you, in the past when I've talked negatively about a former employer, the only negativity that gets spread around is on me.
Yeah.
It looks foolish and stupid, and small. And so, man, if you really have a really ugly negative experience, 10 years from now someone asks you, you can say, yeah, I used to work there. I don't like to talk about it. People will get the message, right? And you don't have to go into gory details and all that nonsense. It just makes you look small.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't think you're losing anything unless your intention is to be some kind of an activist, which I wouldn't support you in doing that. So.
No, that's not my intention.
I didn't hear that. I didn't. I heard your spirit's pretty clear in your voice. I hear it clearly. So I don't see a problem with it. I'm trying to think of times that someone has presented an NDA to me. I signed an NDA when a good friend of mine brought me the idea for the Total Money Makeover, and he wanted, before he disclosed the idea of that book to me, he wanted to. And I said, dude, I'm not going to steal it. And I, if the idea is good, we're going to do it. So that's fine. I signed it. I didn't think anything about it. And obviously it's turned out, I've sold 9 million copies of that book. So it turned out to be a good NDA, a good idea. And I protected him on the idea. He made a lot of money. We made a lot of money. Everybody's got a lot of help. So that's when I did sign one.
And I've signed them when I've left.
You signed one when you came to work here.
But I was a high-level leader, and there's trade secrets behind closed doors, there's attitudes behind closed doors, there's all kinds of just private stuff.
Proprietary information. Yeah, and that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to think when I have... Oh, I'll tell you when I've been unwilling to sign an NDA is if somebody that just calls and asks for a meeting here, and I've never heard of them, and I don't know them, and they've got this idea that they want to bring us, and I just go, I don't really want to know about your idea, because ideas are a dime a dozen. People who can pull them off are zero, and so there's not many, and so I don't really want to get into, because we've got people all over this building with ideas, and we may have already had the idea that you're bringing in here, so I don't want to convolute the waters with that. So that's a time that I've not done it, because I get the people pouring ideas across our desks every day around here inside the building. We don't have to do that, and we're not known for stealing ideas in the marketplace. So that's the other thing. So I would sign it. I would sign it. Unless you've got something in that company that you think there's something bad going on, and they're just trying to trap you in a sense. But you've been there 5 years. You wouldn't be ready to continue the relationship if you thought that. Right. So that's an interesting question. It gives me pause and makes me want to stop and think. Yeah. Yeah, so...
And if you see something that you don't like, that's when you've got to be the grown-up and say, I'm out.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to stay.
Tap out.
And you all have a choice.
I had a company I was working for when I was in my 20s, and they said, this is the way it's going to be. And I said, oh, no, it's not. And they said, yes, it is. And I said, no, it's not. I don't work here.
Have a great afternoon.
I don't work here anymore.
Yeah, have a great afternoon.
It's America. It's not Russia.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be here anymore. And so, Johnny Paycheck moment, Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you're feeling tired or stuck with your money, like you're never going to get out of debt or you'll never save enough for your future, it doesn't have to be that way. We can show you how to win with this. You can make progress with your money, and you can make it faster than you think. But the only way to make it happen is with a budget. And that's why you need a Ramsey Plus membership. You'll get access to the premium version of Every Dollar, the world's best budgeting app, where you can plan out every dollar that you're going to spend and save before the month begins. You can connect your budget to your bank so you never miss a transaction. You can get custom budget reports. And, of course, when you're a member of Ramsey Plus, you can go through Financial Peace University, get help from a coach, and everything else. If you want a free trial to Ramsey Plus, you can start winning with money, I promise. All you got to do is text TRIAL to 33789. You can get a free trial to all that stuff. Text TRIAL to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code RAMSEY to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Alexis in Florida. Alexis writes, my mother and grandmother were recently in a car accident in which my grandmother was killed. Grieving the loss of a loved one is hard enough, but this is worse because my mom was driving. Mom's always been very anxious, and now she blames herself for this. What can I say or do for her at this time? Ugh, I'm so sorry, Alexis.
Wow.
Honestly, you can tell her that you love her, and you can show up. There is no, like we talked about in an earlier show, there is no things you can knit on a pillow. There's no books you can hand someone that's going to make this okay. Grieving's hard, and grieving's individual, and everybody does it differently, and this is just going to be hard. You can show up and be with. You can, if you're not in the same community, you can set up a dinner train, and you can call your mom every day, but this is just going to be really hard. Really, really hard.
Yeah, there's just not a formula.
No. Everybody grieves differently.
Well, and it takes some time. And, we talked about this, like you said, in another hour. When I was a young guy, I was doing, first met God. I was in a church, and they were teaching us to do how to work in the altar and a pastoral care position as a lay person. And they always talked about the ministry of presence.
That's right.
Don't say pithy things.
Say nothing.
Like in this case, the one that comes to mind is don't say, well, that's why they call them accidents, because it's an accident.
No.
It was an accident, and that is why they call them accidents, and she's not at fault.
And not helpful.
Saying that is not helpful at all. But that's what comes to mind immediately. That popped into my head when I saw this.
So I was with a small group of writers and poets once, and a guy stood up, and we were talking about grief and art, and he stood up and told maybe the most incredible, heart-aching story I've ever heard in my life, ever. And it involved his son being hurt in something that was an accident, but he was at the helm. And he told the story of he didn't remember much other than carrying his son, and he handed him to a nurse, who then they got onto a helicopter, and then he said, I remember this nurse walking me down a hall in this hospital. Turned out it took me to a chapel. Didn't even know where I was. Hour 1, hour 2, he said nothing, this nurse. Somebody came in and whispered into his ear at hour 4 or 5. He found out later that he was being clocked out. The nurse just sat there. He said at some point the nurse got up, we hugged, he left, and I walked back in when they said, hey, your son's out of surgery. Son made it. And he said, that man sat with me for 4 or 5 hours and said 0 words, and that was the first time I'd ever felt and seen Jesus. Said nothing, just sat with me in a chapel, in a hospital. And there's something about grief that demands to be witnessed. You got to just overcome that urge to give advice and to say, well, you should be feeling this, and what if you just did this? And just say, Mom, I'm so sorry you're hurting, and I love you, and I'm here. I'm so sorry that you're hurting. I brought donuts.
I miss Grandma, too.
Yeah, I miss Grandma, too.
Yeah.
And I love you. And at some point, you can say, hey, Mom, let's go for a ride. I'm going to drive. And that's Mom's introduction back into a car. right? And back into the road. And over time, she'll be back on the road. And it's just going to be hard. And it doesn't matter if she was very anxious or not. Everybody's going to deal with this grief differently, but this is going to be hard, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to be different. And some mothers will pop right back up and say, what a wild thing, I'm back in it. Most won't. And your job is not to direct and curate their grief.
Don't fix it.
Just be with them.
Don't fix it.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do in a society full of fixers.
Oh, my gosh. Everyone's got advice and opinions and
a poem and a scripture.
7 steps to the new. Man, when you're in the car and someone you love passes away, everything's different from this point forward. And over time, that will emerge and grow in this ash. But right now, we're just going to sit in it.
Wow. Alan is up next. Alan's in Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Alan, how can we help?
Well, Dave, I've got an interesting situation. We have been on your plan for a long time. We've probably led FPU, 30 times.
Wow.
So,
thank you.
I know one of the answers to this.
Hey, Alan, I just got to stop you. Dave, I don't even know the question, and I can't wait. All right, go ahead, Alan.
I know the financial answer, but I'm glad that, and I called because Dr. D is on, because this is a relationship thing as much as anything else. We've been married for 38 years. I got the best wife in the world.
Except?
No, there's not an except. We're on baby step 7.
Okay.
Haven't had a home mortgage in 15 years.
So you're millionaires, likely.
Yep.
You're baby step millionaires. All right.
Uh-huh. Last summer, my 91-year-old father passed away. And I learned from some good people, which is one reason why we've been successful together.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad left us, between my brother and I, about another $1.5 million. So up to this point, most all of our assets have been in qualified plans and real estate. So it's been illiquid to do fun stuff
I
with.
don't want to run out of time, so you're going to ask your question.
I'm with you. So I want to buy about a $20,000 toy. It's not a financial issue, but I'm struggling, one, in my heart to say it's okay to do that, and two, my wife and I can't seem to get on the page about it.
What's your net worth?
Right now, about 2.3.
What's her objection, and what's the toy?
I want to get. Well, I've always joked about getting a motorcycle, but I'm your age, so I'm too damn old to have one of those. So I want to get a Polaris slingshot that would be a little safer, So it's about unused 20, new maybe 35.
So what is her objection to you spending this? She thinks it's unsafe or unwise.
I can't tease it out of her. That's the problem. It's not a financial issue in our world, I don't think.
No, it's not.
But,
John?
Yeah, this has to do with either safety. This has nothing to do with the purchase. You guys can afford this 6 ways to Sunday. So if it's a money thing, buy it. I think you need to sit down and look at your wife across the table. It sounds like you may be a dreamer. You're a storyteller. You love the heart and soul of all this stuff. Sit down and say, hey, I really want to get this thing. And I can hear it in your voice that you don't want me to have it, or you've said no. Tell me what the true objection is.
What's really going on?
Yeah. It's probably about safety.
And no matter what she says, go, no, but really.
Yeah.
No, but really. What's the real objection?
Are you worried about it?
No, but really. What's the real objection? I can tell you what Sharon said. It has nothing to do with my age. She said, if I get a motorcycle, she's gone.
And I've ridden on a Polaris with you, and it's almost not as safe, right?
Well, there you go. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jamie's in Pittsburgh. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
Okay, so here's my situation. I'm 26 years old, recently engaged. I live with my parents for the past 4 years after graduating college to pay off student loan debt. Last year, my mom left out of the blue and wants to divorce my dad. So because I recently got engaged, I'm trying to plan a wedding, and it just doesn't feel right with my mom not being involved. I haven't really spoken to her. Also, my fiance and I want to move across the country. We aren't really sure what to do because combined we're in $105,000 worth of student loan and car debt.
Well, you got a lot of chaos going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of highs and a lot of lows all in one explanation, right? And so what do you do for a living? What's your fiance do for a living? What do y'all make? What's your incomes?
Yes, I'm in the architecture industry. I make $52,000. My fiance is in insurance sales. His base pay is $38,000.
So when are you getting married?
What his commission will be. We haven't set a date because I'm hesitant with debt and with family.
Mm-hmm. And where would you move, and when would you think about moving?
We'd like to move either to Texas, possibly Austin or Dallas, or North Carolina, probably Charlotte.
And do you have jobs lined up?
We don't yet. I feel like so.
Who's paying for the wedding?
My dad said that he would contribute $10,000 to the wedding, and my fiance and I could. We both would like to contribute $5,000.
Okay, so you have a $15,000 or $5,000 each.
$5,000 each.
So a $20,000 wedding. Okay.
Yeah.
And why haven't you reached out to your mom?
Well, she left my dad, and I found out through somebody else.
So why haven't you reached out to your mom? You're an adult architect who's about to get married. Why haven't you reached out and asked your mom what in the world she's doing and why she did it?
I'm scared.
Okay. That's an honest, truthful answer, and I honor that. You got a lot of chaos in your life, and it sounds like what you need to do is sit down and write this stuff down on a piece of paper so you can look at it. It all feels super overwhelming, and it's going to get more and more paralyzing, and that's when people get into situations that are way, way over their heads.
Okay, I'll give you an order, and then you've got to figure out how to navigate it. It just sounds to me like, and this is not as much financial coaching as it is, I've been through 3 adult kids getting married. There were no divorces in the middle of them. But I would get married, move, and then work on the student loan debt in that order.
Okay.
And I would get married soon.
We want to get married.
Yeah, and you're not getting married. You're putting off getting married for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. Other people are controlling your destiny, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You need to set the table and put out the dinner invitations, and whoever comes to the table.
Sure.
And the table is, Mom, I'm planning a wedding June 15th, July 15th, August 1st, and I've got a $20,000 budget. I'm putting it together. I'd like to know what the flip is going on inside your brain, number one. Number two, I'd like to know if you want to be involved in planning this wedding, if you want her involved.
Yeah.
And then you don't wait on her to figure out her life for you to get married.
Because she's going to come back with different dates, and that doesn't work for me, and what if we did it and nope.
Nope, this is when it's happening. And if you want to be involved, these are the terms of you being involved. You may not want her involved. I don't know. You may have written her off because of something she's done, and you're not telling us the whole story, and you know more of it than you're letting on. I think that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And if that's what you want, and Dad comes out and says, "Well, then I'm not coming," then Dad's made his decision too. This is where grown-ups are being grown-ups now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
So don't wait on your mom and dad to get their crap together for you to get married.
That might be never.
Because it's going to be a while.
Okay.
They're obviously pretty screwed up.
I think you should go see, if you haven't already, go sign up for premarital counseling Monday.
Yep.
Because y'all have a lot
We
to
have.
unpack. Good. Take that seriously. Do all those exercises.
Do that. Set a wedding date this summer. Get married. Make a move. And work on your student loans with your new jobs. Make the move only when you have new jobs. Don't move and hope it all works out. Oh, we're going to Texas and God will take care of us. No, God says get a job before you go.
Okay. So we should just save up really as much as we can once we set the date.
Yep.
We're started saving, but then we're like, oh, should we put this towards student loans? Should we?
No,
put
just put your
your
student loans on as much hold as you can put them on, and get through the move and get through the wedding and then the move, and get landed in 2 good jobs. Settle down there. You can check in on your parents and hope they're doing well. Hope they're starting to heal. Hope they're putting their lives back together. Meanwhile, you're going to tear into these student loans like a vengeance.
Okay.
But you can't really do 6 things at once. That's what's driving you nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't fix your
that's for
mom.
sure.
You can't fix your mom. You get married, pay off your student loans, and move.
And because your mom did something stupid, now you're questioning the whole enterprise. And are you safe? Are you smart? Who's this lady? You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your family. It all just feels too much, right?
Yeah. I have paid off $53,000 of student loan debt so far since I've graduated. So,
Yeah, but that all happened before all hell broke loose.
Yes.
Yeah, so you made good progress. I'm proud of you. I'm not saying that. But right now, you've got a bunch of things on your table. And listen, you can eat an elephant if you just do it a bite at a time. So all I did is give you an order. If you want to change the order, change the order. I don't care. But the problem is when there's no order. There's no 1 before 2 before 3. And I'm just saying wedding before move before student loans.
Thank you.
That's my opinion. It's worth what you paid for it, kiddo.
And anytime you're faced, this is for any listener, anybody you're faced with those seasons of chaos, and we all have them, write it down. Get somebody in your life that will read it back to you. Say, are you really going to do it like this? And you go, oh, no. It's just getting order to that chaos, and then like the baby steps, come up with your plan and start walking it, man.
Well, you can flesh it out. You know, in her situation, okay, we could do it in a different order. We're going to move, and then we're going to get married.
Yeah.
That doesn't work so good.
Nope.
Oh, wait, we're going to pay off all the student loans. Well, there's $105,000.
Yep.
It's going to be a little while before we
married.
get married and before we move then. We're going to be in Daddy's basement a while.
Right.
This is going to continue. So, I mean, when you play all of these things out, there's only really one order that's going to be the most efficient and logical.
A common thing is she wants to make sure mom and dad are okay before she goes and pulls her trigger, and you can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because mom and dad are going to be a mess. That's probably been brewing for a long There's so much back to that, right? You've got to chart your course at this point, and I love your wisdom. Tell mom here's the plan. Tell dad, here's the plan.
Yeah.
And we're moving forward. And if
we're
you have
serving dinner at 6. If you want to eat, be there.
I'd love to have you there. Yeah. And if you only save up $15,000 for the wedding, nobody's going to die. Right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, 10.
You're going to have a great wedding, and the pictures are going to look great 20 years from now. And that's what you'll remember.
Yeah, lots of weddings around here. These young people on our team getting married. Lots of $10,000 weddings.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of them.
The marriage works just as good.
Yeah. There's no correlation between the cost of the wedding and the success of the marriage. And matter of fact, at some point, there may be an inverse correlation. Yeah. This is The Ramsey Show. scripture of the day, Psalm 16, 5 and 6. Lord, you alone are my portion and my cup. You make my lot secure. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. Charles Kettering said, every father should remember that one day his son will follow his example, not his advice. Ooh, nice job, Kettering.
They will watch everything you do.
And do it perfectly.
Yep. They won't listen to you, but they will watch you.
You don't believe me? Try opening your mouth and one of your parents comes out.
Oh, trust, it's happening. Dude, I got an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old, Dave. I hear it, and you just have to look over your shoulder. Is my old man? Is he my dad here? What is happening? How did that just come out?
Where'd that come from?
And then I watched my son make the same face I made. I could feel it. Like, oh, man. It's like living in the Matrix. It's so bizarre.
Rachel says, more is caught than taught.
That is so true.
You want your children to be good with money? Let me teach you how to do that. You be good with money.
Oh, it's so much easier just to tell them stuff, Dave.
And do it in front of them.
Oh.
Yeah, don't hide it. Don't hide all of your money secrets, because they're not really secrets after all.
Hey, while we're on that topic, let me ask you this. What is a rule of thumb you've experienced over the years telling kids your salary? Because I really like having, especially my 11-year-old down there, watching us do the budget and watching, because I want him to have an understanding. Here's how much electricity costs and water costs and those kind of things. But also just have an innate fear of him running around school saying, hey, what does your parents make? My parents, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I shared all the expenses, but I never shared the income.
Okay.
Until they were 18.
Okay.
Or until they were in college or whatever.
Gotcha.
They knew we were doing okay, kind of thing, but they, I didn't. But we were also trying to protect our kids from the celebrity crap as well.
Right.
Because we were trying to make sure they don't play the Dave card at school to try to get some kind of favor, or something. My dad's Dave Ramsey, that kind of bull crap. And so you just got to step on that with a big foot. And so, truthfully, none of them ever did it much except Rachel.
Yeah, I think my son lies about his last name. No, it's Delaunay. I'm not that guy. Right.
Well, yeah. And there's some of that. I mean, because there's two sides to that part,
That's right?
I mean,
there's a lot of French guys in Fairview.
Try being in a personal finance class in college, and your dad's name is Dave Ramsey.
Geez.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the butt. So that really happened. Didn't go well. And so. But yeah, there's two.
And I can see Rachel;
sides.
she won't back down either.
No, and yeah.
Daniel would nod politely. Rachel would say, "Excuse me."
Yeah,
so
Daniel
good.
waited till the end of the semester and then told the guy's last name.
Right.
He didn't even get it. The guy didn't even understand how stupid he was. But no, we didn't share incomes and.
But it's protecting an 11-year-old from himself, I think. But
because they just, even if something is the truth, you don't want them bragging.
That's right.
You don't want them embarrassing themselves or the family or whatever else. I mean, it's just, you don't want them being that kid, my dad makes so-and-so or my mama makes so-and-so.
Yeah.
That's a gross kid.
But I like that idea of sharing the expenses, making sure they see the expense
they did.
sheet.
I mean, I remember distinctly Rachel and maybe Denise sitting at the kitchen table, and we're going over the electric bill, and Denise goes, oh my gosh, it costs so much to buy electricity. And like Rachel looked at her and goes, I guess that's why they're telling us to close the door all the time.
Right, turn the lights off. Right.
It's like, but there was this, no pun intended, light bulb moment that came on, right? And, and it's just, but that's really good.
I love those conversations.
And get the mutual fund statement out and go, here's the share price and here's the number of shares in your college fund.
Right.
And so how do you figure out how much money's in your college fund? You multiply those times each other.
I love that.
And it's a little 6th grade math lesson, 4th grade math lesson there.
Yeah, I love
whatever it is to get to that point and work that through. But it's value building. And then you have to constantly correct for them. We squashed out any type of entitlement.
Oh yeah,
stuff like Rachel and I told the story in the Smart Money Smart Kids series in the book and in the teaching series she does in Ramsey Plus. Daniel was a little guy, about 7, 8 years old. And we finally got a decent car after going broke. And, we had we're old Southern people. So you get a new car, everybody piles in, you go for a little ride, right? That's like a celebration of buying the new car. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And so Daniel he leans back in the back seat all the way back and he goes, "We're doing pretty good."
Yes.
And I said, "Honey, we ain't doing anything. You got nothing. You got nothing. I'm doing pretty good. You're just along for the ride, buddy." And so he's like, the kids told that story for years because Daniel's like, okay. I just thought it was like
when I got this latest truck, this fine 06 model, Hank got in it. And he looked at it. He looked at me, based on the old truck I was driving.
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable upgrade.
He said, "Dad, are we rich?"
I said, yeah.
"Yes, we are, son. Yes, we are.
We have a good used pickup.
That's right.
We are rich."
This truck cost 5 digits.
Whoa.
Not just
not everybody has a 5-digit pickup.
This truck had a 10 in front of the comma. Mm-hmm. Whoa, Dad. That's right, son. Stay close to your old man. He'll get you places.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the thing is, you do want to share. And on the other side, the other thing we run into with kids, how much to discuss, is when things aren't going well.
Right. You don't want to scare them, right? You can terrify kids.
Yeah, you can terrify them. We're going to get foreclosed on and thrown in the street.
Yes.
And that's trauma that they'll carry into their 40s.
Right.
But instead just go, Mom and Dad got this. It's going to be okay. We're having some bad times, though. And you just keep it where they can digest it. Mm-hmm. And obviously you can disclose more to a 14-year-old than you can a 4-year-old, at least hypothetically.
Yep.
And
I've learned in those conversations that touch is a huge settling thing for a kid. If I'm having a hard conversation with a young kid, I'm going to sit them on my lap. I'm going to make sure I'm touching their face, touching their hands. And it's a grounding force for a kid. They can hear it and they can see me, right? As opposed to just throwing off a piece of information that I got more context to, and that kid's going to take that and just run with it, right? And they're
like neural pathways type.
It's just I need them to be grounded and know that I got you.
Touch.
I got you. We're here. This is a hard season. This is really tough times, and Dad's working a plan with Mom, and we're going to figure this out.
Because they can
they can sense it.
They can feel the stress in the air.
And if you don't call it out, they will assume that stress is created by them, and they will spend the rest of their life trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to let them know there is stress in the air. It is not you. In fact, you're the best part of this. And we're
going to make it.
We're having grown-up challenges, and luckily you got grown-up solving them. That's
we're
right.
Gonna make it.
That's right.
We're going to make it. That car is not going to be in the driveway anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make it.
Yeah.
We sold the boat.
Oh, boy.
We're going to make it.
Yeah.
And but you're going to be okay. We're going to have food, and we got each other.
And we're going to go kick a soccer ball out right now.
Yeah. And we'll work it out. But that's you got to be real careful because children deserve to know. Not really.
You can weaponize truth in a way that makes you feel tough and makes you feel back in control. Don't do that to a kid.
Yeah.
Right. Call your buddy and tell him you're scared to death. And that's why you got to have people in your life, right?
Yeah, but it is good to also the other side of it is to acknowledge it. You need to acknowledge it. Keeping it completely stuffed. They know something's up, and they think it's worse than it is.
And there's some conventional parenting wisdom years ago was don't have disagreements in front of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to scare them, and inadvertently.
I never saw my parents.
There's a generation of kids that don't know that you can fight and still love somebody, right?
Yeah. Kids grow up, parents never talked about sex, parents never talked about money, figured they had neither, found out later they had both.
I know. And I didn't want to know any of it.
Don't want to know this. I don't want to know this. Dr. John Deloney, good show today.
Thank you.
Good job, James Childs and Kelly Daniel in the booth. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember there is ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.